welcome back to the Business Spotlight podcast here with Action Coach Northwest. I'm your host, Lauren, and today we have Terry O'Connor of Rose and Blossom here to chat about all things business. So, hello, Terry. Welcome. Let's kick things off with a fun question, and please tell me how your business began.
I started in 1991, right after graduating college from Gonzaga University. And I had a business degree. I wanted to do entrepreneurship. I knew I wanted a business of my own. So there was a franchise out of the Tri-Cities called Just Roses. And I went to work for them, and then they gave me the opportunity to open my own franchises up here in Spokane.
Amazing. That is so cool and really inspiring too. So kind of looking back to 91, if you had to start from square one in business, what would you do differently?
I think actually I love how I started business then, because I didn't have fear. And in the older age, I think that I would maybe have some fear, which isn't a good thing. I would recommend how I did do it, not how I would do it today, because I was fearless. I was 22 years old, and it just wasn't, failure wasn't an option. I just did my business plan, and I was convinced there was money to be made, and I was actually profitable relatively soon. And so now I look and I think, oh my gosh, how could a 22-year-old start a business? There's there's just all these outside facts, so a lot of fear would be wrapped around it. And I didn't have any fear. And so I guess my recommendation is don't have fear. Don't worry about things that you can't, just deal with what's happening today and what you can plan for.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool and inspiring. And that's definitely a perk of being in your 20s in business, because you're like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So cool.
Yes.
So kind of going off of that, what has been one of your biggest learnings as an employer since you began in your business?
Well, I mean, I love that every day you learn something new, and they're always evolving. I think you can never have too much confidence that, I've been in this business for 33 years. I know everything. And I think you can learn from my employees so much, whether they're experienced ones. I might have a designer that comes to work for me that's been designing for 25 years. There's a wealth of information that they can teach you. And then young people, just, their new perspectives, especially the young people. I really think that that's what's going to keep me relevant, and their input as to how to market and how to is very important to me. So, yeah.
That's amazing and so true. Okay, so kind of looking on the opposite side, what are some common misconceptions about running a business, and how do you address them?
Well, I mean, everybody thinks, they have tons of money, they have their own business. But I mean, there's real stressors. And in my business, there's cash flow ups and downs. And it can be really stressful if you don't plan out correctly. So, and the hours that you work, I mean, I don't know that that's a misconception, because I think people understand that entrepreneurs work a lot of hours. And so the work-life balance is difficult. So I guess people know that, but people aren't just made of money, and, it's not this well of, unlimited funds. So I think sometimes people have a misconception about that.
That is so real. Well, you have been in business for over 30 years, which is so incredible. Congratulations. What do you attribute your growth to?
I think anytime I've had challenges, it's like painful at the time and scary, but every time I look at all of those, that's exactly where the growth came out. And so I think that my ability to pivot has been really great. Like, I started out, we literally just did roses. We sold them for starting at $9.99 a dozen. It was very bargain basement, things. And then as I grew and there was a need to change, because back then, like Costco grocery stores weren't selling roses. And so all of a sudden you've got this real competitions and so there's a need to change. And so I love that every year, my business isn't the same each year on year on year, and it's different. And I think that that's really important to evaluate. And what are we going to do different? What are we going to bring in? So I think it's always not to get into a groove that, always learn and always change.
That's really important. I love that. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but how do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
It's my biggest weakness. It really is. I used to do a way better job in my 20s and 30s. So it's definitely a thing that I have to work on. I've sometimes, said, okay, Sundays, I'm not going to open an email. It's my day, but it doesn't always work. So I do think you need to set boundaries for yourself and then really try to stick by them. And I also am working on not feeling guilt, like say it's really busy, but I have it covered with employees and it's like, you don't need to go in. This is fine. They've got it. And just trusting instead of being a control freak and like, oh, I need to be there, because you just burn yourself out.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge as a business owner for sure. Try not to have your hand in every single thing and trusting other people to do it. Well, kind of speaking on that, what qualities do you look for in employees and how do you foster a positive and productive work environment?
I love people that come to me that specifically want to be in floral. They come to me and they're like, I love flowers. My grandma and I would garden, or, anything that has an interest there, an artistic flair. Even my delivery drivers, I want them to appreciate the flowers and understand that they're delivering joy and be in that mindset. So, I mean, people have to be friendly and happy for the most part. We don't want grouchy people sending flowers out into the world.
Gosh, yeah.
And so attitude, and it's not a science. I mean, and I'm wrong a lot sometimes too, but you just sit down and I try to just have people, have a conversation so that they can tell me about their inspirations and what they want out of the job, and try not to get somebody that's just, I just need a job type situations, which sometimes I get that too, but I love the people that it's like, this just looks like an industry that would be really fun. I would love to make people happy.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so looking ahead, where do you see yourself in 5 years, and any words of advice for other business owners who are looking to grow their business?
Well, I do, and that's maybe another one of my weaknesses is the exit strategy. And I've been thinking of my exit strategy for, I said, oh, once I hit the 30-year mark, I'm done and being in business. Now I think I'm going on 34 years this year. So it's like, okay, well, I'm 4 years overdone on that. And then it's also the fear of, well, what's phase 2? Because I don't want to retire. It's like, I want to change to some other business, but it's an exit strategy is important. And I definitely picture that I still want to be involved in my business, but less. So, right now, maybe I'm working 6 days a week, 60 hours a week. It would be great to work 30 hours a week. And so I think I will be there in 5 years. I'll still have my foot in the door, but I'll be letting go and people will be trained to do my job. And I'll just be kind of an employee of my own business, which is kind of opposite, because they're always like, don't work in your business. And now I'm like, well, now I kind of just want to do the fun stuff. I want to go back to working in my business.
And then kind of going off of that, do you have any words of advice for other business owners that are looking to grow their business?
It just is different for each market, and business, but I just think you have to be passionate. You have to love what you do. If you don't have a passion, people know. If you have to be authentic. And if you're authentic, I honestly think that your business will work. If you believe in your product, you care about your customers, it's going to work. And you can't cheat them. I mean, we have some vendors, that various, whether it's in photography or caterers, or, that you can tell those people who aren't authentic or aren't honest and things. And then just within the community, we're not going to, work with each other or refer those to other businesses. So it's super important. I think just whatever you do, be authentic, love what you do, and keep learning, keep studying, and you'll do fine.
I love that. Okay, wow. And then my final question is, what question should I be asking you that I haven't?
Oh gosh, what's my favorite color? No, I'm just kidding. Everybody also asks me, what's your favorite flower? Which it's like asking for your favorite kid. It's like, heck if I know, I love them all. But I don't know. I think maybe like technology, AI is something new.
And how does that work in your industry?
Well, I'm feeling old because I used to think myself as pretty technologically advanced, and now I'm just like, oh my gosh, all these new gadgets. I feel like some old. And so I do think, again, that the younger people, that's another way that I can leverage them and help them teach me about this. But I have a relationship with my chat GPT. Found out she was a woman the other day. I didn't know it. She talked to me. I didn't know she could talk either. So that was surprising. But
wow.
So it's helping me a lot with like wedding consultations. I can say, okay, here's the palette, and I'll give them the picture, and then they'll come, give me suggestions, and I'll ask like, what kind of color palettes or what kind of flowers would you do? And sometimes it's bad suggestions, sometimes it's good. But I just think technology, I mean, it's going to change how things go. And so technology is a big thing in business these days.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's amazing. And then I thought of one more quick bonus question. Why did you choose flowers? What is it about the floral industry that you resonated with?
Yeah, it was funny because back then I definitely had more of a business mind, and it was more important that I own my own business. And I didn't know in what, but this opportunity came available for me. And so I didn't know that I would like that, but I just like put the numbers to it, and I was like, oh, there's some money that could be made here. And if I do A, B, and C, then I'll get here. And so that's really what drew me to it. And then over the years, it's the creativity, and I didn't know that creative side of myself. So that has been really fun. And sometimes I have to discipline myself to do the business end now. So I'm kind of flipped, but I do love flowers. I think I maybe give more importance to it, but I really like, for us, when we present the bridal bouquet, I mean, at the moment in her life, she'll remember forever. Or if it's sympathy and, we bring a little bit of comfort to the grieving people, I think it's just really important work. So I'm happy that I'm in this business.
That's amazing. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Terry. And for our audience, be sure to check out Rose and Blossom. We've got all the links below, and come back for more episodes.